fact, what the West and Europe did to Africa is something that has to be condemned.
Between 1958 and 1961, France did something absolutely horrible. France made the Francophone African countries, and I don't even want to use that terminology, but I only use it for the purposes of conversation. The 14 countries which were formally, but still colonized by the French, they were forced to sign a document that they called the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. You heard me. The Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. If you want your independence, you must sign this. Guinea, Secretary said absolutely not. Mali said absolutely not. France, pack your bags and go on back home. France could not believe it. Could not understand that an African country, these monkeys, do not want to be affiliated to France. They said, we will show you. So history tells us France went into those two countries, took everything that they thought they had brought to those two countries, including the last teaspoon and chair, proceeded to pour concrete into the sewage pipes, completely devastating the two economies. The then newly appointed president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, in his efforts to rescue these two economies, created the first ever union of any African states, Ghana, Guinea, and Mali. But what that did was it made the other African countries realize that if they go against France, this was the fate that was waiting them. So what did they do? Wait the paper. And they signed. What did the pact say? One. The pact said, you monkeys, you don't know how to manage your money. So you shall deposit 85% of your bank reserves with the French Central Bank under the control of the French Minister of Finance. And that France is going to take your deposits from the individual countries, pool them together, invest them in the French stock market under the French name. And you, monkeys, you may or may not know the returns. Latest figures are showing this is still going on since 1958. France today is collecting out of Africa over $500 billion before investing. And when they finish investing this money, for every 14 billion out of Africa, they're recognizing over 300 billion. Now do the math. So when it's actually said and done, France is taking out of Africa trillions of dollars every year, and we, the poor Africans, are gladly giving it to France. And the same France has the audacity to look at us and call us poor people. 1958. They went further with the pact. You say, we will also print your own money. We will print your money for you. They instituted what they were calling the CFA, special currency for the African countries, and that only France can print that money for you. They went on to say all the contracts, large contracts, public and private, French companies have the first right of refusal. All your minerals discovered, yet to be discovered.
Seriously, it has to be condemned. Because when we talk of indoctrination and brainwashing, Africa is the worst victim. Yes, the African man is the worst victim. Because, indoctrination has certain keys, and they saw how to apply those keys to us. One, through education. They gave us what has to be their way of education, and we adopted it and adapted to it. Hook, line, and sinker, we swallowed everything, and we left ours. To the extent that in schools, you are told that you cannot speak your mother's tongue in the school. You can't speak your local language. No. Wherever you find yourself, you cannot. It was a taboo to speak your own language in the schools that you attend. And so where I attended my school, we were told that Operation Speak English is still on. And for that matter, you are not to speak your local language. There's no way. If you try, teachers will beat you to pop. They will seriously beat you for speaking your own language. Yes, this is what happened, and it is still happening. That do not speak vernacular. Do not speak your local language. Don't speak it in our schools. Yes, because this is what they told our puppet leaders. And therefore, our own language, we cannot speak it anywhere. You can speak your language when you come home, but on school compound, you are not allowed. And for this reason, we have people that will go to school from morning to evening because they are unable to express themselves, or we are unable to express ourselves in the Queen's language. We have to keep quiet the whole day. And it was not a worry for the teachers. They were happily carrying out these orders coming from the Ministry of Education through the government. They were happily carrying out these orders, and we were not speaking at all. So if you cannot express yourself in a Queen's language, don't speak. So you come to the school, and then you are there, you don't talk to anybody. Because what betides you, if you speak your local language to your colleague, you are going to be beaten mercilessly, whipped with canes by your teachers. This is what we went through. This is what we went through. And then the political system, they brought us democracy. How has democracy helped the African man? How? Show me how. Because democracy, they push whoever they want to be the leader, and then they dictate to you what you have to do. They will tell you to come for loans, and then through IMF and the World Bank, they will tell you what to do. Do this, don't do this. Construct roads, don't construct roads. Build schools, do that, do that. And this has been the suffering of the African man. The nigger is still suffering. What are we talking about? Let's look at and then military training. They will come and train you, your military. They will show you the tactics that they know. They will show you. And then, are you telling me that they are going to show you everything? No way. They will show you what, in case you want to rise and fight them, they have other tactics they didn't tell you. That is what they are going to use against you. In fact, they have these weapons. The worst of all the keys, the worst of all the means was religion. Yes, religion. That shall not kill. In fact, the root of money is the root of all evil. They brought the Bible. When we Africans resisted the slavery, then they brought the Bible with the missionaries. And then in the Bible, they tell you that money is the root of all evil. So you are not. No. Money, don't go near money. You don't need it. What is good? Why do you need it? When you die, you are going to walk on gold in the streets of heavens. And your reward is in heaven, not here. And then they were collecting the gold and taking them away. Your reward is in heaven. So, you don't need this gold. You don't need it. You don't need all these resources. No. You don't need it. Your reward is in heaven. You will die, go to heaven, and then you go and walk on gold. What will the walking on gold in heaven do to the African man? What will that do to him? When you are taking the gold, build your country, enjoy life, then the nigger is still suffering down here. And then they tell you that if you are rich, you won't even go to heaven. So don't bother yourself getting rich. No. Don't try getting rich, because rich men will not go to heaven. And then they brought that. And then the African man once again adopted and adapted hook, line, and sinker. And that is what we know. To the extent that you are even told that when you are going to church and you meet the white man, go back, you just met Jesus or you met God. This is how serious it was, and this is how serious it is. And it's still going, because we have pastors who are getting richer day in, day out, buying private jets, and then telling church members that they should donate for God. God needs money. What is he using the money for? They will use the money to enrich themselves, give their kids the best of education, buy all that is necessary for good life, and then the church members continue to wallow in poverty. These are their agents now, pastors. And that's what they are doing to the African man. And our leaders don't see anything wrong with that. And church members continue to get poor when the pastors are getting rich at the expense of the church members. Because the church members have to, their reward is in heaven. So they don't need, money or anything for that matter, for anything here. When they die and they go to heaven, they are going to walk on gold. What mentality? What mentality? The white man has really, really, really suffered the African man. Let me put it this way. You have really suffered the African man, and we have years and miles and years to catch up. And still, we do not have the people who will rise to the occasion and say enough is enough. And say enough is enough. And this is where we still find ourselves. The white man is still doing that through what Kwame Nkrumah said as neo-colonialism. And they have gone and they are still here, and they are multilateral corporations, multinational corporations, still siphoning our resources for their use. Kindly share this video and then like and then subscribe, and then let me know what you also think as an African man, or even as a white man, European, or what. Just tell me what you think. Thank you.